Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Penny. I am a master esthetician in Portland, Oregon, and I'm excited that you're here with me today, you guys, because we're gonna do the Friday Q&A. This is the video that I'm doing every single Friday where I try to take as many of your comments and your questions and answer them in one video. So without further ado, let's just get right into your questions. I am gonna start with this question, and this one I get asked all the time. This is actually from Janine Kim, and she says, please help. I am a redhead with fair skin, curly hair, and I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Dry, dry, dry. She says, my confusion is with hyaluronic acid. I have heard it in a few places that if I am in a dry environment, that it will draw moisture from the deep barriers of my skin instead of the atmosphere, making my skin drier. I so want to use it, but not if, in the long run, it just does the opposite. And then she says some nice things, but she says, basically she wants to know if that's true. And that is so true. And I'm so glad to be able to address this question because I do get it all the time. Yes, if you live in a super arid climate, if you are in a dry climate, then hyaluronic acid can definitely do the opposite for you. It can make your skin actually drier. And the deal is, it's going to pull water. It is like a magnet to water, and it wants that water. And if it cannot find that water in the environment, then yes, it will create more dehydrated skin. So you definitely want to be careful. There's a couple things that you can do. Depending on how dry your climate is, you can mist your face with water first before you put your hyaluronic acid on, and then you can put an occlusive moisturizer on over that, virtually trapping the water that you applied and the hyaluronic acid that you applied with that occlusive moisturizer. So you've given it some water to draw, right? You can do that. That doesn't always work. That definitely doesn't always work for everyone, especially in a dry climate. So for those of you who have tried that and you even get an inkling that you are drying out, your skin feels more tight, more itchy, more dehydrated, skip the hyaluronic acid. I know that my friend Kathy, she has a channel here on YouTube. Her channel is Kathysbeautycarechats. She is skipping out on hyaluronic acid completely. She checks all of her products. She lives in Texas. It is very dry there, and she definitely has found it to dry out herself, not just her skin, but she has dry eye, everything. So she is leaving out the hyaluronic acid. I definitely suggest that for those of you who are in dry climates, play around with a little bit, but know that if you start to feel more dry, it could be the HA. So what can you do? You can definitely incorporate some other humectants like beta-glucan, sodium PCA, urea. You can incorporate those hydrators instead, kind of play around with the humectants and see how that works for the hydration of your skin. Okay, this one is from Melanie Bristol, and she says, hi Pen, how soon can you wash your face after nanoing? And here's the deal with nanoing. I prefer to nano at night. I like to do that because it definitely does kind of, energize my skin a little bit more than I would want to then put some makeup on. And the reason why I also like to do it at night is because I can go to bed and everything that I just fed my skin by nanoing, by, moving cells around and getting some product infusion into that outer layer of skin can just sit on my skin overnight. So I say a really good rule of thumb is 8 hours. So if you can possibly just nano your skin and not wash it, not do anything to it for at least 8 hours, then you're giving your skin a chance to really kind of appreciate all of the things that you just put on it and that you just tried to infuse into it. Next question is from Cha-Cha. And this question is, how do I clean off the numbing cream after I applied for 20 minutes before I start microneedling? This is such a good question, you guys, and I don't know that I've actually really demoed this, but let me tell you that in the treatment room, I have facial sponges, and I will link some in the description box. I'll just link the ones that I use. I like them because they are free of color. They have no scent. I have ordered some before that I've gotten that smell like really chemical. They have a chemical scent. These are organic and they're just fantastic little sponges, and I love them for working on clients, so I usually have them at home. And what I do is I take 2 of those, I get them wet, I wring them out, and I remove as much as I can. Then I use as warm a water as I can, and I rinse them clean, and I do that again. I do that until I feel like there's nothing on my skin. Then I cleanse my skin. That's how I get rid of the numbing cream, because it's super, super important that we get all of the numbing cream off of our face before we needle. We do not want to needle lidocaine into our skin. And I know that there are definitely practitioners that do a little bit of that, and I just think that it is a no-no. I don't think that we should. So you want to thoroughly remove it before you move on with your microneedling. So I hope that that helps you. This question comes from Elena Cassandra Castor Pollux, and she says, how quickly do the channels close roughly from microneedling? So this kind of varies in opinion. There are people who are smart people who think that the microneedling channels are closed as soon as 15 minutes, you guys. Then there are other people that suggest that it's a few hours, but pretty much there is consensus that they're pretty closed up within a couple hours. I mean, they aren't open for hours and hours and hours. So when you guys ask me about the things that you can put on after microneedling, I've tried to keep it really consistent so that I don't confuse people with hyaluronic acid right after you needle. However, that said, given the fact that the channels are not open for 12 hours or something like that, if you needled early in the evening and you used your hyaluronic acid, you could, before you go to bed, put on a growth factor or put on a vitamin C or any of those things that I don't necessarily think should get in the channels for risk of, granulomas, things like that, but that would be really, really good for that skin as it's repairing itself. Yeah, you definitely could do that. It's just difficult to kind of pinpoint a protocol when you're not pretty specific. So I've tried to be really careful to say hyaluronic acid only, and then the next morning you can use X, Y, and Z. But just know that yes, the channels close up pretty quickly, and you're pretty safe to put on all of those other good things that same night. So I hope that that doesn't confuse things. I've been very hesitant to ever say that on here because I do not want to confuse things, but it's definitely something that you can do. And if you are doing the more shallow depths, certainly cosmetic needling, yeah, those channels close fast, you guys. So there is a window of time for you to use those channels for product penetration, and then they're closed up. Okay, so next question is from Cecilia Pulsifer, and she says, hi Penny, can I microneedle under my eyes? What do you recommend? Now here is in the protocol, you guys, I normally tell you, you have an orbital bone here, and I tell you to gently pull the skin down and needle over the bone. And I always say 0.25. Part of the reason why I am saying that, you guys, is because when I am talking about at-home needling, you just got to be really, really careful around your eyes. Now, when I am needling in office, I'm definitely needling at 0.5 under the eyes. I am pulling that skin down, I'm needling over the bone, and I am doing a 0.5 because I do want to stimulate collagen. Now, if you needle with a 0.25 around the eyes, you could actually needle with a growth factor and try and stimulate some collagen that way because you're cosmetic needling. But I'm gonna leave it up to your discretion if you want to try to needle at 0.5 under the eye on the orbital bone. It's a little bit deeper. That skin is very delicate, and you should just be really, really careful. So definitely in past protocols, I have said 0.25. And I'm not changing my opinion on that. I just want you to know that 0.5 is where we're getting that collagen stimulation, and I'm sure that that is an area that we all want to stimulate some collagen. Now, this last question, you guys, is about epidermal growth factor, and this comes from Sarah L, and I've gotten this question a bunch, and it is, can you recommend an affordable EGF serum that doesn't cost over $100? Now listen, guys, this is very, very difficult because a lot of growth factor serums and products, they have so much research and development behind them that if they're worth their weight, they're usually pretty expensive, or they're over $100. Now, I did have a subscriber who I feel like I could call a friend, and she is a valuable resource here on YouTube. Her name is Mira Parker. She recommended to me to try the brand Bradceuticals. I'm going to put that in the description box, you guys. I want you to research it. It is mesenchymal stem cells. It really looks to be extremely promising as that kind of product. So if you're interested in an affordable product that has stem cells that looks to be formulated well, that is affordable, then I definitely want to direct your attention that way. And I cannot thank Mira enough. I have mine on order. I'm super excited to get it and to try it. The ingredients look really promising, and I'm excited to pass it on because it's like $40, which is of course a lot more affordable than the 100+ price tags. I am always on the hunt for affordable skincare, you guys. I definitely do not discriminate. However, it's really difficult to find really good quality growth factors and that kind of thing in those price points. But when I do, I will definitely share them with you. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Please leave your questions down below. I will definitely answer them in next week's Q&A. I thank you guys for being here, and I will talk to you again very soon. Take care.